What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Reformed Reader, the channel where we review different forms of media through the lens of a Christian who is under the authority of the scriptures. My name is Josh, and today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. So I'm getting ready to film my weekly update. So I thought that now would be a good time to maybe just kind of take you guys along for the ride, give you some behind the scenes footage, let you see what I actually do to set up for my videos, and maybe to just give you some more tips on what I've learned from YouTube. So maybe for some of you who are thinking about starting a channel, or who are thinking about what are some things I need to be thinking about while I'm recording specifically for BookTube, I would love to give maybe a couple of things that I've learned. Again, this may not be applicable for everybody, but I will try to do my best to keep this succinct and just give you some overall ideas. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to kind of give you 5 very practical tips, and then I'm going to try to give you 5 more philosophical type tips as far as talking about your videos. What I mean is I'm going to give you some tips maybe on this is what I would do with my lighting or my camera or whatever. But then I'm also going to just kind of talk around some ideas that maybe some things some things that maybe you want to keep in mind while you're getting ready to record videos. And so let's start with an easy one, and the one that I kind of want to show you, which is that you don't need a studio to film videos. I've had several people ask me about where I record my videos. Do I have an office? Do I have a library or a study room or whatever? And I think you guys are going to be disappointed. So let's jump to that. So I'm going to try to take you guys along for the ride as much as possible. But yeah, I just film in my bedroom. As silly as that sounds, it kind of sounds like a, something that a kid would do. And maybe it is. But yeah, I don't have a very big house. My house is only about 1,500 square feet, and every square foot is being used in some form or fashion. So just to give you an idea, this is what you guys typically see. But what you guys don't see is over to the right is our bathroom. And yeah, there's our living room. But yeah, this is our bedroom. I'm going to show it, mess and all. Yeah, it's a pretty small bedroom. And so what you guys don't see is that I just kind of keep all of my equipment shoved in the corner, which I don't recommend for numerous reasons. But my point is I don't have a lot of space. So I just make do with the space that I have. So yeah, you don't need a giant studio for videos. As a matter of fact, I may even argue against something like that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that, but let me tell you what I personally prefer is I don't like to distract the viewer from what it is that I have to say. So while I would love to record in front of my bookshelves that are in my living room, which if you watched my early videos, that's exactly what you saw. And that's because that's what I saw in the YouTube videos that I watched, is that people were recording in front of their bookshelves, which makes sense because we're talking about books. But I also found that it could be a distraction, especially because I like to have little knickknacks and stuff sitting on my shelves. And so I tend to get distracted very easily. And so I found myself every once in a while perusing their shelves and not really listening to what they have to say. So something as simple as this wall here, where I just have a couple of little things, obviously I have my books here, but then I just have a couple of little things that sort of make the background a bit exciting. Nothing crazy, but it just kind of livens up your set a little bit. I don't even like to use that term, but yeah, so you guys can see I don't have some crazy space. It's just my bedroom. I just record in my bedroom when I can. And so I don't think you need a giant studio or some separate place to record. If you have one, that's great because you can control the environment a little bit better with lighting and sound, but it's not a requirement. So just use the space that you have and then, try to liven it up the best that you can. Okay, so I'm going to try to set up for the weekly update while I'm talking to you guys. But this brings me to point number 2, which is that it's good to record in batches. Now, what I mean is typically when I do my recordings for my videos throughout the week, it's very rare that I'll record one video, edit one video, post one video, and continue to do that. For me personally, that doesn't make a lot of sense to do. It's not a great use of my time, especially because my time is so limited nowadays that I want to try to make the best use of the time that I have. So how do I do that? I'll normally plan 2 or 3 videos in advance, and I will record however many of those videos are, normally 2 or 3, but I'll record those videos in one sitting. So for instance, today, my wife is at a baby shower, and so I know that I have a pretty quiet house. We don't have a lot going on today. So now would be an excellent day to try to record a couple of videos. So rather than record one, edit one, post one, and then I'm constantly having to record, I'm constantly having to edit, I'm constantly having to upload, and then I'm just sort of like the hamster on the wheel. I just am having to constantly chase the next video. I'm having to chase the next recording, chasing the next edit or whatever. And so rather than spinning my wheels and just constantly like feeling like I'm barely one step ahead, I try to get out in front of it, record 2 or 3 videos at once. That way I have a backlog of recordings, and then I can just work on the edits. So it sort of lets me get 4 or 5 steps ahead as far as my video process goes, or producing the videos, the finalized product that you guys have. It lets me get 4 or 5 steps ahead. So that way now really all I have to worry about is editing, and then publishing them is pretty simple. So I try to have like 2 or 3 videos already uploaded and scheduled to go out before I actually am filming another video. For me personally, this makes it way more manageable to be consistent, way more manageable to keep producing new ideas. It just makes the channel manageable, really, in a nutshell, because, you know, as with having a full-time job, being a very involved dad, an attentive husband, an active church member, all of those things, and then, you know, you got kids that have sports or whatever, having to do all these things and maintain a YouTube channel probably isn't the most ideal thing, and especially for those of you that are in school or whatever. So recording videos in batches just makes things a lot more manageable for me personally, and I think is a good tip for those that are like, okay, I just feel like I'm constantly behind. So I would just recommend recording 2 or 3 videos at once. That way you only have to worry about editing, and obviously you can edit as much or as little as you would like. And then, you know, you're kind of ahead of the game. So tip number 3 is going to be to begin with the end in mind. So what I mean is, before you sit down to record your video, know what it is that you want to say, know what it is that you want to convey to the viewer, whether that be with outlining, which, as you can see, I even have an outline for this video so that I don't ramble, because I tend to. So to avoid rambling and sort of not knowing where the video is going to go, I would say either make an outline or just have like, you know, a very broad outline at the back of your mind, knowing what it is that you want to convey to the viewer. Now, with a book review, it's a little bit easier, I think, personally, to do that. But if you guys notice, almost all of my videos are very structured. They have a very specific and consistent layout. So like my book reviews, obviously I go, this is the book that I'm talking about. This is what the book is about. Let's go over the good, the bad, and the ugly. Would I recommend it to a Christian? And then sort of just some final thoughts. To begin with, that was less for you guys, and I'm just being transparent with you, but it was more to keep me from rambling, because I can ramble about a book for a very long time, which most of you guys know. So I can ramble about talking about books forever. So instead of doing that, it's like, let's get laser focused and hone in on the thoughts that I have and being able to articulate that to you guys. That's how I've been able to do that, is by having a structure. Even with like a top 10 video, challenge yourself, you know, because you might be thinking like, I don't want to do a 10 or 15 minute video, but if you're doing a top 10 video, you're only talking about a book for a minute, and we could probably all talk for longer than a minute about one of our favorite books. So just sort of give yourself some restrictions, and it'll actually make you be more creative and more thoughtful, and people will pay more attention to what you have to say. How do I do that? I begin with the end in mind. I'm constantly thinking about, like, how do I want this video to start? What do I want to be saying, and how do I want to complete it before I ever hit record? So tip number 4 is actually what you're seeing here, which is do everything you can before filming to get as close as you can to the final product before you hit record. So yeah, do everything you can before filming. So what do I mean? I mean, get my lighting right. I mean, get my audio set up, make sure everything's working, double check everything. But as far as things like my lighting goes, I want to make sure that as much of it is taken care of before I hit record. So that way it makes it easier on me in post. I don't have to spend a bunch of time editing or color grading or trying to color correct the video, which it probably looks bad right now. I try to knock out as much of that stuff in like pre-production as I can, because the post-production process can be tedious. So the things that I like to do in editing are to help tell the story. The things that I don't like doing in editing, which is what nobody likes doing in editing, is cutting out all of the trying to like color correct things, trying to get everything looking as good as possible to the final product before I can add in my little memes and GIFs and all that kind of stuff. It's much easier for me to get everything knocked out that I can in pre-production, so that way when it comes time to edit the video, I just get to tell the story that I want to you guys. Okay, the next one is gonna be a simple one, but guys, if you're recording videos and you're posting them on YouTube, use timestamps. Use timestamps. They're really easy to do. They're very simple. So if you're like, well, I don't know how to do that. I love the idea of timestamps. How do I do that? It's pretty simple. Once you're done with the video, you go into the description, you type in the word timestamps with a colon after it, and then underneath it, you put in the individual times for each scene. So you start the video off with 0000. That lets the algorithm know, or whatever, that, hey, the video starts here. And then you just break that down into smaller increments. You just keep doing that with the different chapters. Now, why am I like impressing upon you that I think timestamps are important? There's a few reasons. Number one is that makes your videos look more professional to the viewer. If they open the video on their phone or on their TV and they see that there's little chapter headings, it shows that you're very intentional about your videos. Now, I don't think somebody's gonna like consciously acknowledge that and go, well, he's very conscious of these things. Like, no, but it does make your videos look a lot more professional when you have timestamps. And it's such a simple and easy thing to do. It just takes a couple of minutes. So what I like to do is, as I'm editing and I'm trimming it down, I start with the beginning of the video and I work my way to the end of the video. As far as editing goes, is each time I'm going to a different section, I just make a note in my phone. At this time, like, you know, at 18 seconds, that's where this starts. At 1 minute and 26 seconds, that's where this starts. And that way, after I upload the video, I can just copy and paste my timestamps from my notes on my phone into the description of the video. Makes it very easy, but it does make your videos look a lot more professional, in my opinion. And it also kind of shows that you are keeping the viewer in mind. Now, at first, I was a little averse to doing that. I was a little averse to doing timestamps, because I was like, well, if somebody's just gonna skip ahead, then they don't really care what I have to say. And that's not the case. It might be, but I would say it's not necessarily the case. But if I watch something like a top 10 video, I'm not always extremely interested in what somebody has to say about each book. Sometimes I am, it depends on the individual, but sometimes I just want to see what the books are. And so even though you're like, well, I'm just wasting breath, why don't I just show books? Because not everybody is doing that. Not everybody wants to just skip through it. Some people want to watch or listen to what you have to say. But for those that do just kind of want to see your list and move on, and I do that all the time with other people's videos, by the way, it's very helpful to the viewer to have those timestamps to go, this is book 1, this is book 2, this is book 3. Or, you know, if somebody, like when I do my book giveaways or something like that, if there's a section in my monthly wrap up that somebody doesn't really care about, hey, you can just skip ahead. It's pretty easy. It's just one quick drag and you know where the next section starts. Or if you're doing a review that contains spoilers and you want to have a section that contains spoilers, it's very helpful to the viewer if you can segment that section off for them. So I will certainly say that it shows that you have the viewer in mind. So timestamps, they're simple, they're easy. I personally would prefer that everybody that does these talking head kind of videos, that we would do those. They're very helpful and it really makes your videos look more professional. Okay, tip number 6 is going to be that it's not your camera, it's your lighting. So what do I mean by this? Now, if you guys can tell, hopefully you can, the lighting in this video has already gotten significantly better. And there's a few reasons for this, and I'm happy to show you. So again, I'm in my bedroom and I have little things going on, such as we have blackout curtains. I've closed the blackout curtains in here. So I'm trying to control every light source that I can. And so if you're wondering like, okay, so what lights do you currently have? I have this key light right here, which is the main light that you use to, light the scene, light your face or whatever. That's the main one that I have right there. Then I have this other light. I can't remember what it's called, what the actual term for it is, but it's the same light, but I've got it pointed down. Now, what does this do? This gives these little highlights to the top of my head, or it gives me an outline in the video. What I was doing before is I was taking both of these lights and I had one blasting me from this side and I had the other one blasting me from this side. And what I found is that it was really washing me out. It was making my face like very, very pale and white. And so what I've learned is how to use my lights, how to use my lighting. So now, just for instance, I currently also have the light in my bedroom, just like with my ceiling fan on. And I want to show you the difference that this makes in the video. So if you notice that light that I have up here, it's a warm light. And so with it off, the light now is much more white. It also lightens up the room quite a bit more. So it kind of just depends on what you're going for as far as the look of your video, whether you prefer a more warm or white light. I would just say do whatever is the least distracting. So for me, because that light's not super consistent in my bedroom, I turn it off, right? And then I adjust my lighting with these two lights here. But there's little things that you can do, such as, you're like, okay, I'm not as crazy about that. I can just with a simple dimmable light, it drastically changes the look of your videos. So if you're thinking about recording videos and you're like, okay, my video looks very flat, my lights don't look great, it's got to be my camera. And then I was one that would do the same thing, and I would say, well, it's because my camera's not good enough. Guys, I'm recording this on my phone. The camera quality on your phone is exceptional, and I'm recording it with the front-facing camera, which is the worst lens. Obviously, it would be it's preferable to record with that rear-facing camera because the lens is so much better. But I just want to emphasize and stress to you that it's not your camera that's the issue. It's probably your lighting. If you have a smartphone, then you have a perfectly acceptable and high-quality 4K camera, most likely, that you have at your disposal. So now what you need is some decent lights, and more than anything, is to learn how to use your lighting. So I'm not suggesting that you go out and you purchase lights, okay? That's not what I'm recommending at all. What I'm suggesting is that you learn how to light your room. For instance, in my early videos, I just went and sat in my living room and I had the blinds open and I used natural light. Natural light looks fantastic. The problem with natural light is that it is inconsistent. If you have a cloudy day and your lighting looks immaculate and then a cloud goes in front of the sun, it will just wreck your lighting. And that's why you can see in those early videos, the lighting consistency, it looked like this constantly. And my camera was having a difficult time focusing on my face and trying to adjust to the brightness. So whatever you can do to keep it consistent, that's what I would recommend. But if you don't have lights, just use natural light. But learn how to use your lighting, because if you're like, well, my videos just don't look super high quality and I need to figure out how to do that. Okay, I obviously have to buy a $2,000 or $3,000 camera with a $2,000 or $3,000 lens. No, you don't. You don't even have to buy a $100 camera. If you have a smartphone, use it, utilize it, and learn to work with it and learn how to use your lighting. Now I'm going to continue to record the remainder of this video on my phone just to kind of show you, give you an idea of what you can get your video to look like. So for instance, talking about lighting, I have this key light here, and obviously I can turn the brightness up or down, but then I can also move the light closer or farther away, and it will drastically change the way that the scene looks. On top of that, you can angle the light away from you, you can angle it towards you. I don't want to just make this a video about lighting, but just know that it does matter and it can drastically change the way that your video looks. So obviously I added this little colored accent light here and another one over here. That's just to sort of set the stage, and honestly, it pulls me out of the scene a little bit and allows me to kind of set center stage. Because if we're doing a talking head video like this, or like most of my videos, I don't want all this stuff distracting. Now, obviously with the camera on my phone, it doesn't have like an auto blur type of feature. And so you're going to get all of the nuance of my bookshelf back here, but I actually prefer it with the main camera that I use recording my videos, that it has a natural focus and it focuses on my face, and the background is kind of blurred out just a little bit. So there's a little bit of mystery back there. And anyway, it's just not distracting for you, the viewer. So again, it's not about your camera, it's about your lighting. Now, once you can like fine tune your lighting, then afterwards, if you're still wanting to make incremental improvements, I would say, yeah, maybe look for a camera. Once you really think that you've maximized what you can do with what you have, then maybe start looking into some other options, like maybe some lights, maybe some accent lights or whatever. And then after all that is said and done, and you're like, I'm still not super satisfied, yeah, maybe look for a camera if it's within your budget. Okay, now I know I said I was going to record the rest on my phone, but I couldn't get my tripod to set even, so this is what we're working with now. But yeah, as you guys can tell, I hope, there's a big difference now in the way that the scene is lit. But this leads me into the next point, which is be consistent. Yeah, just be consistent in recording and shooting and uploading videos. That is a huge, huge plus for you. I don't like playing the algorithm game. I don't like doing all the super popular videos and all that kind of stuff. But I will tell you that if you're inconsistent, that's the easiest way for YouTube to not promote your videos to other viewers. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen. So be consistent. So even if it's posting one video a week or even one video a month, I would say start there. Whatever you can do to be consistently uploading videos, because what you don't want is to upload 2 or 3 videos one week and then nothing for another couple of months. And then all of a sudden post another video. And this is coming from somebody that was out with my voice and sickness for a couple of weeks. I definitely saw my growth stall out quite a bit because I was away being sick. So do whatever you can to be consistent. Batch filming definitely helps, but also understand it's a slow grind. Now, some people have these videos that just take off. I don't. I don't know that there's a single video that you could point to and go, that one is the video that gave you all of your subscribers, or the majority of them. If you do, that's awesome. I don't. Mine has been a slow grind. So right now I'm just under 1,000 subscribers, and it's been from posting 2 to 3 videos a week for over a year. So maybe like that will set your expectations maybe a little more realistically of what you can expect. Now, you may record a video and it may just take off, and you find that you have 10,000 subscribers, and that's awesome. I hope that does happen. But more than anything, your audience and YouTube wants you to be consistent. They want you uploading content so that they can then promote it, so that then they can advertise on top of it. So being consistent is vital to the success of your channel. So point number 8 is actually a point that I meant to get to in my other video, which is book reviews do well. Now, I will preface everything else that I'm going to say by saying this. They don't always do well, but I will tell you, if you're doing BookTube videos, they are the videos that will continually get views. So what I mean is, I posted, as of the time of recording this, I posted my I Am Legend book review on Wednesday. It has not done extremely well as far as viewership goes. It has I think on average, one of my book reviews will hit between 100 and 150 views in the first week. My I Am Legend review is around 70. And I kind of expected that. It's an older book, and also it's a little bit outside of the wheelhouse of most viewers. I get that, but I just want to talk about the books that I read and the ones that I enjoy. But I will say that if I come back 6 months from now, that video will have more views, whereas something like a weekly update or a monthly update, my top 10 books of 2025, those videos have a shelf life. So what I mean is, people are not going to be going back to watch my weekly updates. They're not going to be going back to watch my monthly wrap-up videos. So I know that my first 7 days after publishing my weekly update, that's what I can expect as far as the amount of views that I'm going to get. I might get one or two more here or there, but on average, that's kind of where it's going to be because they're just waiting for the next weekly update. They're not going to go back and watch the previous one, or most likely they won't. And same with like monthly wrap-ups and things. I know that those videos have a shelf life, and it's normally the first 7 days. So while, weekly updates or some of these videos that like really take off or that seem like they take off might seem like, oh, well, I need to do more of that. I would actually say that those videos are fleeting as far as your audience goes, because you're always going to have people that are searching on YouTube for somebody that reviewed their favorite book, or a book that they want to read, or a book that they have read and they want to hear thoughts on it. Those videos are always going to do well. The shelf life on those are much longer. For instance, you look at Mike over at Mike's Book Reviews. His review of the Wheel of Time books is still some of his most popular videos, and it's because people are still reading those books. But nobody really cares about what happened my week of the first week of 2026. Not now. And we're only in the middle of February. So people certainly aren't going to go back and watch those 2 years from now. But people will watch your book reviews. So whether you're doing book reviews or something else, I assume you're doing book reviews since you're watching this channel. But if that's what you're planning on doing, think of videos that are going to have a bit of a longer shelf life. Now, I would say don't only do those. I would certainly diversify your videos. I would do something that maybe has like a big punchy impact for your channel now, something like a top 10 list, something like a weekly update or whatever, but then also do the others. So that way, when you diversify, you have people that are coming to your videos. You have that traffic from those current and relevant videos, but then you also have that backlog that is constantly churning, not just viewership, but engagement with the audience. So book reviews actually do well. They just don't typically do well initially. Okay, I'm almost done. I'm getting ready to wrap up. Number 9 is going to be that what you win people by is what you must keep them by. So what do I mean by this? Many of us have probably heard this in our church. I know that I have. Maybe you have. I assume that most of you probably attend a church. And if you haven't heard this in church, your pastor probably has. So what do we mean by that? I mean that what brings people to your channel is typically what you have to do to keep them on your channel specifically. So if I'm talking about things like church, which I'm not going to get too heavy into, but if people aren't coming to hear the gospel, but they're coming for all these other reasons, whether it be, this program or this event or whatever, then they're probably not going to stay. Talking about within the church, unless you're doing that week in and week out. So very similarly with your videos, what you win people by is typically what you have to keep them by. So let me explain it like this. Most of my viewers, most of my subscribers in particular, it has been a very slow grind to get the amount of viewers that I have. And keep in mind, I'm not patting myself on the back. I know it might. I hope it doesn't come across that way. I'm not saying that. But what I mean is that I typically only see a couple of subscribers each week, 1 or 2, sometimes more than that, just depending on the video. However, for the subscribers that actively subscribe to my channel typically stay. It's rare that I have those that unsubscribe. Whereas if you look at some of these very big channels and somebody does a video that just blows up, right? Let's say like my top 10 video of last year. There's a bunch of people that watch that. But I had some subscribers. So specifically, I think I had an influx of about 50 or 60 subscribers, which was great. I really appreciated that. But as soon as they went and they're like, oh, this guy seems cool because he's talking about his top 10 books. It's just another dude. Let's go check out his other channels. Oh, he's a Christian. Ew. Right? And so that happened very quickly because at the beginning of all of my videos, I say exactly who I am. And that's just a disclaimer for the viewer to let them know who I am and what I'm about, because I don't want to blindside them or make them think that I'm being sneaky about being a Christian. I'm not. I want to be upfront. That way, if you're averse to Christianity, you kind of already know before the video gets too far into it. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want you to watch a video and watch a channel that you're ultimately going to realize that you hate or whatever. I don't want to be the reason for that. So I'm upfront about it. But I will say with my top 10 video, had an influx of subscribers. And then within a couple of days, most of those subscribers left. Now, why is that? Because they see the popular video, they see the current video, the relevant video, and they latch onto it. But then once they start looking into my back catalog and they realize, okay, well, we don't align on a lot of things, so maybe I don't necessarily want to hear your perspective. And that's perfectly fine. So I will tell you though, that when I get subscribers based off of book reviews, when I get subscribers based off of some of the shorts that I do and things like that, those typically stay. And it's because they're like, oh, cool, I didn't know there was a channel out here like this, or whatever the reason is you subscribed. Thank you very much. But my point is that what you win them by, you must then keep them by, which is why I typically do the same kinds of videos week in and week out. I do one book review a week, or I try to. I haven't as of late, but I try to post one book review every week, and then one kind of fun video every week, and then a weekly update. So you know what to expect. If you watch 1 week's worth of my videos, which is 3 videos, if you watch 3 videos, you kind of get an overall idea of what this channel is, what it looks like. And and there's not going to be a ton of surprises or curveballs. Whereas if it were the other way around, let's just say I was chasing the algorithm and I was looking for all those big popular videos, or, I'm just doing collaboration videos with people who have 10,000 subscribers or more, or whatever. Obviously, I'm going to see an influx of views and probably an influx of subscribers. But if I don't maintain that and I go back to just doing what I'm doing now, they'll probably leave. So that means that I'll have to continually do those videos in order to keep that audience member happy, to keep them subscribed. So all of that to say this, keep this in mind before you start a YouTube channel, or keep this in mind as you're creating, is that what you win people over with is what you're going to have to keep them with. So that's why I tell people, be as authentic as you can, because it's going to cause people to stay. I know some people I know that there are a couple of subscribers on here. Thank you so much. But you guys don't even like to read or whatever. You guys just are either friends of mine, or you're like, this guy's interesting. I appreciate that. Thank you. But you know what to expect from me. And keep in mind, I'm not knocking anybody that does the other thing. If you want to be successful on YouTube, you have to play that game a little bit. I'm just not interested in that. I know that I'm not going to, all of a sudden become a full-time YouTube guy. And if I am, I shouldn't be talking about books, because I'm certainly not going to make any money doing this. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make genuine relationships with you guys. And I now have true friends, and not just friends, but very close friends that I talk to on a weekly basis, if not more. I just want to stress that what you win people by is what you must keep them by. So keep that in mind. If that's the kind of stuff that you want to do, where you want to do top 10 lists and big collaboration videos and book hauls and unhauls and all that, bookstore reviews and those kind of things that are very popular, then do that and have fun with it. But understand that once you try to shift gears, or if you try to shift gears, that you're going to see a drop off. So for me personally, I have seen my growth. It has looked like this. It has been very steady and just like a very, very slow climb. Whereas the channels that typically do that, what you're going to see is peaks and valleys, or at least much more steep peaks and valleys, because I have those as well, but mine aren't as steep. So you might have an influx of 10,000 views 1 week, and that leads to 5,000 subscribers. But then the next week you put out a book review of a book that people haven't heard about, or isn't relevant, or isn't current, and you'll see a steep decline of unsubscribers. So yeah, one more time, what you win people by is what you must keep them by. And lastly, this one's just going to be very brief, I hope, is that you need to always be refining your craft. Always be refining your videos. Always be refining something. So as you guys have probably seen, that just over the course of a year, my videos, hopefully you can tell, have gotten drastically better as far as the quality goes. And I'm not just talking about the lights and the camera and the audio, but I'm also not excluding those things. What I mean is I feel more comfortable in front of the camera. I feel more comfortable talking to you guys, even though I'm not actually talking to anybody right now. If somebody walked in my room right now, they would think I was crazy because I'm sitting here with all these lights around me with a microphone in my hand like I'm a news anchor staring at a camera, you know? And so when you think about it like that, it's ridiculous. But I don't think about that anymore because I know that I'm talking to you. I know that I'm talking to Sam and to Brittany and to Lane and to Vincent. And like, I know that I'm talking to you guys. And so it's easier for me to see that rather than me go, okay, I'm just a weirdo sitting in the dark in the middle of the day, Saturday, with all the lights off, with these weird lights on around me. Like I think I'm, somebody. I don't think that, but what I've done over time is that I have slowly begun to refine things about my videos. And this is what I want to encourage you to do, is to be refining those videos. So if you're like, I typically go back and watch my videos for a couple of reasons. One is that way if I said something dumb, that I maybe need to go back and edit, I do that before I publish it. Or maybe if like the audio cut out for some reason or whatever, if something goes wrong, I try to go back and fix it before you guys see it. So that way you guys actually get the final product and not a rough draft. But over a period of time, I go back and I look at my videos and I think, okay, what can I do to improve? How does my lighting look? What do I need to improve that lighting? Is the little green light in the back too bright? Is it too distracting? Is the little blue one over here, is that too distracting? Is it too bright on my face? Is it too dark? Simple things like how I'm sitting in frame. Should I be more center stage, or should I be more over to the right or more over to the left? Those kind of things, you're just going to have to make little tweaks consistently and always be refining. Always find something to fix, to correct, to improve upon, or whatever. Because with a video like this where I'm just talking to you guys, just to be transparent with you, I keep little things in mind. Like, because I'm just talking to you guys, I can be in the middle of my frame. But when I do things like a book review and I have little graphics or a picture of the book, or where it says the good or the bad pops up, I want to have room for that where it's not cutting my face off. So that's why I'll scoot over here. That way now I've got plenty of room to put any graphics or anything that I want to include while I'm still in frame. That's why you guys might see me scooted over in, whether it be my weekly updates, my monthly wrap-ups, or my book reviews. Whereas if I'm just talking to you guys, I can be center stage. And some of you may not even notice that. It's little things like that you want to pay attention to and that you will figure out over time. Because once you start editing videos, you're like, man, it's really annoying that I put this graphic right here and it's like almost cutting my ear off or whatever. That's annoying. Okay, I could shift the video over, or I could do something else, but I kind of want it in frame with me. So what do? I could just scoot over, or whatever, or how I hold my microphone, or how I have the microphone set up, how close or how far away it is. All of these things play a role in the final product of your video. So just always be finding something to tweak. Now, what I don't necessarily advise is go, okay, I recorded my first video, I put my first video up and it looks terrible. That's it. I'm done. No, like, press on, because you can make it look and sound fantastic with just a little bit of effort. Really not even a ton. It's just, you're going to have to get in there and do it. So an analogy that I like to use that may not work for everybody, but in my work, we operate equipment quite a bit. So it could be different kinds of equipment. And you can sit there and tell somebody what this does, I can show you that this control moves this. And the same with like playing a game. I can sit there and tell you all of the buttons and what all of the buttons do. But at some point, you really kind of just have to hand it to them and say, here you go. And you kind of have to figure it out for yourself. And it's going to be different for everybody. The learning curve for these things varies greatly between individuals. Some people just get how to light their room. I don't. I had to go and watch YouTube videos of, okay, how do I need to be lighting this? What do I need to do? What looks best for this or this or this? Why do people have colored lights in the back? How do I get the camera to focus on me and not on, the books behind me? Or like, how close do I need to sit? There were several videos where it looked like I was doing this right here. And I'm like, wow, that doesn't look good. And it could be something as simple as I need to sit up. Maybe I need to sit closer to the camera. Maybe I need to sit, whatever. You understand what you get what I'm laying down. Here I am chasing rabbits again. But I say all that to say, just over time, just make little tweaks. So instead of trying to make let's say I put a video out and I'm like, okay, I want to make the next video 100 times better. I think that might be a little unrealistic. But what you can do is do something as simple as, man, my audio was really quiet on that last video, so I need to bump that up. And you just increase the production of your video by like 2 or 3%. And if you keep doing that over time, I know people are like, that's 100%. It's not. What you're doing is it's like compound interest. Is, okay, I just made my video 2% better. Now the next video is going to be 2% better than that, and so on. And you'll see over time that your videos will look and sound drastically better and different if you are constantly tweaking this thing. So I would say, don't ever get complacent and go, I did it. I've made it. My videos are the best they can be, because even if the quality of the production is as high as you can make it, there's always something that you can do personally to make your videos better, more interesting, more engaging, whether it be your vocabulary. Having a decent vocabulary is good when you're doing a talking head video. So if you don't have a great vocabulary, you might go back and watch it and be like, wow, I sounded like a dummy. I'm talking to me here. I need to find other words to use other than like, or you know what I mean, or use other turns of phrase other than genuinely or for the most part. So just over time, constantly be tweaking things, and you'll see a drastic change in the quality of your videos, whether it be the production value or it be, what my actual content is. Like, how can I improve my content to you guys? And ultimately, that's not because I'm trying to be a perfectionist or because, I'm being nitpicky about myself. It's not that. It's, I want to represent myself in the best way that I can, and at the same time have a good time with you guys. Still be able to keep those quality relationships and conversations going, while also not having a distraction of, one of the lights go out in the middle of my review, which happens all the time, or whatever. So whatever I can do to keep from distracting the viewer and keeping us, and I mean that, keeping us engaged with each other, that's what I would aspire to do. So yeah, just always be refining your videos. Okay, guys, so I rambled on forever. I am sorry that this video was long, but maybe there's something in here that could help. I will try to trim it down as much as possible for you guys. I'm sure there are other things that I am learning along the way as well, but I hope you guys are having a great time making videos, or if you guys haven't made any yet, maybe I've given you some insight into some things to be thinking about if you're planning on starting a YouTube channel. And if nothing else, maybe I showed you guys how ridiculous my setup is, my studio is in recording my videos. Yeah, I just use the space that's provided to me. So thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me and staying to the end of the video. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys on the next one.